Welcome back. My name is Lightworker Wit, and I'm so excited to get into your new moon in Libra reading. Okay, now I'm going to do this reading a little bit differently than I've done in the past. I'm going to give a collective tarot reading, and then I'm going to pick an oracle message for all of the zodiac signs. So I'm going to get straight into it, but I would like to say, receive what resonates, release what doesn't. This is meant for a lot of people, and I always want you to trust what feels right to you and what you feel called to. So if energy is feeling right, stay put. I'd love to give you a message. If you're not feeling it, no hard feelings. I do ask, though, that you do give this a thumbs up or share, or please post a comment. That really helps me grow this channel. I'm really excited to do that. And so I just appreciate your engagement in advance so that more people can experience these messages that I have to share. If anything that I say really resonates with you and you'd like to work with me more closely one-on-one, all of my links that you need to know that are relevant, or all of my offerings, are in the description box below. So it's available to you if you'd like. And of course, if you'd like access to my monthly forecast, those are on membership only. Those are available to my Lightkeepers, which I really appreciate. You guys are so special to me. And if you're interested in joining and becoming a Lightkeeper, that link is in the description box as well. All right, I'm going to change the camera angle so you can see the cards. So we're going to go ahead and flip that now. But before, I'm going to tell you what the spread is. Okay, the spread that I like to use for new moons is from Biddy Tarot. Okay, let me find it. I like to use my own spreads on occasion, but I've been using this spread for so long, I just really like it. So we're going to be looking into, collectively, what have you released, where you are now, what is emerging within you, what do you wish to grow, how you can bring your goals and intentions to fruition, and what additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals. So that's what we're going to be looking into with tarot, and then we're going to pull an oracle message for all of the zodiac signs just to add an additional layer. Okay, all right, love you so much. We're going to go ahead and get into this reading. I like using the Light Seers tarot for this new moon reading, so that's what we're going to get into today. I feel like using the Light Seers. So just take a deep breath as I'm shuffling, as I'm preparing our cards, so that you can get your spirit and your energy ready to receive this message. Okay, this is your sacred time. All right, okay. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath together. Amazing. Release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Drop your shoulders, drop your jaw, unclench your jaw, okay? All right, let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to look in what have you released. Okay, where you are now, what is emerging within you, what do you wish to grow? I feel like shuffling again. How can you bring your goals and intentions to fruition under this new moon in Libra? And what additional resources are available to you? All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and get into the reading. So first card out, what have I released? The Queen of Wands. And you know what? We're actually going to bring you up. I'm going to bring you up so we can see these cards. There we go. Perfect. All right, so Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Now she is coming up reversed. All right, this is the card upright. We're having her reverse. So what have you released? Okay, we'll get into that. Maybe releasing lack of confidence. Where you are now, Ace of Wands. You've got some new ideas, maybe a new job, maybe a new passion, maybe a new relationship. Okay, what is emerging within you? The Sun reversed. Personal joy, personal happiness. Okay, clarity as well, inner clarity. What do you wish to grow? Nine of Swords reversed. We want to release the anxiety. Yeah, this is the card upright. We want to release that anxiety. Yeah, okay. And how can you bring your goals and intentions to fruition? Eight of Cups reverse. Not walking away. This has been really a message that has been coming up in my readings quite often. So I'm not sure. And not even, I think this is genuinely a collective message, because I don't know if this is just energy that I'm personally aligned to right now, and therefore my followers are also aligned to this message. But I have also been seeing messages from other readers that I follow. The general message is don't give up, don't walk away, keep pushing. So let me know in the comments below if that's a message you guys have been receiving as well. Okay, because I think that's a collective energy right now of not giving up on your goals. Especially, I've been seeing a lot of content too with Pluto going direct in Aquarius now. of just kind of maybe feeling like a fog is lifted in a way, but we'll come back to that. What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? 10 of Cups reversed. Interesting. Family and relationships. Okay, let's really get into this here. What have you released? So for some of you, this is going to be a fire sign. This is going to be a fire sign female, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius person. Somebody who maybe wasn't that confident. Maybe somebody that you were tired of trying to get them to see their worth, their value, their purpose. The Queen of Wands is very charismatic. She's very spontaneous. She's very like exciting, alluring. She's a manifester. When it's reversed, she's a little bit of a wallflower. She's not feeling like her normal self. She's reserved. Now, if this is energy that you've been feeling, you are letting that go. You're releasing your lack of confidence, maybe in yourself or in your circumstances. I feel like you're tired of being the wallflower. It's almost like you're getting back in the game. If you were benched, if you even metaphorically, if you felt metaphorically benched, you're getting back into the game under this new moon in Libra. And I look at released in a couple ways. I look at released in terms of what have I released. I look at released as in what have I put out there in the universe, but also what have I released as in what have I let go. And for me, I'm really looking at this as what have you let go. All right, so where you are now, we've got the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands does represent new flings, new emotion. It can be new emotions, but it's like usually new passion, and a passion for something or passion for someone, a passion for an idea. As you can see, it's not really the third eye, but it's kind of, let's call it the crown chakra. Is the mind, if you will, is lit up. It's a spark is lit, you know. There's a new idea or a new purpose, a new vision that you have that you want to see executed. Maybe even a new relationship. Let's clarify that. Let's clarify what this Ace of Wands is for you watching this. What is this Ace of Wands for whoever's watching this video, Spirit? Okay, literally, I hate when my cards fly on the floor. I really do. But I don't know what it is, so hold on. Adjudication. The adjudication card is usually about a resolution, resolving conflict in some way. Maybe it's resolving an inner conflict. It's a reach, but sure. What is this Ace of Wands for the person watching this video? What is this new spark? Concern. You may even be thinking about your circumstance differently with the Ace of Wands. You may have been feeling really stressed, but now you got a new fresh perspective around something. The Ace of Wands could also be you having a new idea on how to resolve a concern of yours or how to resolve a conflict as well. Okay. What is emerging within you? This sun reverse is interesting. The sun is typically joy, clarity, happiness. When we have this energy reversed, it can represent, it's really a reminder to be playful, to have fun, tap into that inner joy, get back in touch with your inner child, getting back into what brings you joy. I do want to clarify this energy. I feel called for whatever reason to use my Urban Tarot to clarify. So please, Spirit, can you clarify with this deck? What is emerging within this person? Okay. I like to use this deck because of the words. We've got worked, but this is also Three of Pentacles. This is teamwork, collaboration, working together. This is also like a New York City inspired deck. And the Therapist, Queen of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. When I see the Queen of Cups, especially here in this position, where are you now? You're reestablishing emotional equilibrium. Just personally, this is just kind of what I'm getting. And look, with the cups, the water, the Queen of Cups here. You're reestablishing your emotional equilibrium. Maybe you are even considering going back to therapy. Maybe you're trying to self-soothe. Maybe a water sign is helping you regain your happiness, regain your peace and your inner joy. But I really see this as you coming back to your center. When I see the Three of Pentacles here, It's because you're working with other people. Somehow you working with other people and collaborating with other people in some way is bringing you back to yourself. Anything else for where this person is now, Spirit? The day trader. If you notice, we have a lot of two pentacles here. This is the Prince of Discs and the day trader. I kind of hate this deck because I'm not sure if the Prince of Decks is supposed to be the page or the king. I don't remember. Or the knight. I don't remember. I really just don't remember, but I don't think it matters that much. Because again, we're focusing on the symbolism. There's something about you going back to work or going to work. Look, the day trader works. There's something about you going to work or getting to work, getting after it. Hustling, dare I say. But you're doing something. But for me, it's again something that is kind of filling you back up. It's a personal joy, something that's a personal joy. Again, there's a really emphasis on reclaiming your personal joy. That's what's coming up for you. Which is great because we want to get out of this anxious state. So what do you wish to grow? Nine of Swords. You're tired of being stressed. You're tired of being, you're unable to sleep, maybe some of you. You're tired of being stressed. Like you're very overwhelmed by your anxieties. A lot of times when we have the Nine of Swords reversed, it can be a message that you're stuck in this energy. But because this is in the position of what do you wish to grow, I'm really seeing this as like you desperately want to get out of your stress. You want to get out of your anguish. I would like to clarify that. I would like to clarify what you need to do to get out of this. And to do that, we're going to look into my essential oil deck. How can this person relieve their stress? What are you guiding them to do? Okay, we've got third eye chakra here. Trigger statement to release. I've made so many mistakes. Because we're going to let that go, baby. Ooh, I feel like I need to minister to you. And I can't, something that's really important to me, and some people be out here and they just be doing tarot because they think it's fun. But one thing about me is I can't coach you through, or I can't walk you through nothing I haven't been through. I can, of course, look into how things will work out for example, I've never been divorced. So while I can definitely see what would happen in the cards around your divorce, I've personally never been through that, right? So there's a limitation there. But when it comes to this message right here, I've made so many mistakes. This is something that I am personally healing and moving through, that I've really been sitting with for some weeks and months now, of just thinking about what if for me, just personally reflecting on the past 4 years. And I'm not trying to make this about me, but I'm trying to connect to you. Let's talk about this message, declutter. And something that I'm really coaching myself through, and I hope this helps you as I'm healing this, as I'm trying to reframe how I look at the decisions I've made. Number one, you don't know what you don't know. So I want you to forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know. At the time, you made the best decision with the information that you had, okay? So, with that being said, walking away from that relationship, walking away from that job, walking away from that home, walking away from kids. I don't know what your circumstance is, but maybe you had to walk away from your kids or leave your kids with family members. You don't know, and maybe now you feel like you regret. Maybe that's not something you should have did. You didn't know what you know now. So first of all, give yourself grace, okay? Second of all, you've got to stop looking at the past like your life would have been so much better had you done something differently. You don't know that. You don't know that. And that's, again, something I have to coach myself through all the time. I'm like, well, yeah, okay. Maybe in hindsight, I should have stayed in that relationship, but would I have been happy? Would I have been happy? Would there have been something else that would have broke that relationship down in the future? Yeah, sure, I could have stayed in that job and I, maybe would have had some different experiences, but would there have been something else that would have wanted me to move on, or would I have been fired eventually? Like, you can't spend all your energy going through woulda, coulda, shoulda. Okay. So yes, we can acknowledge, okay, I'd probably do some things differently, but now you've got wisdom, babe. Now you've got wisdom. Okay. So try to look at your mistakes as, there's actually a card in here. Look at your mistakes as a blessing instead of a curse. And that's hard. I'm telling you, I know, I'm walking through it. It's difficult, but that's also life, right? That's fucking life. The mistakes card is what I was looking for. A past mistake left you financially insecure and unsure of what to do. Your current financial situation was your own doing. Accept responsibility for it. Learn from your mistakes and let it go. You will get through it. Notice the emphasis is on let it go. True statement. I let it all go. Everything you have done up to this point is leading you to where you need to be. Let go of the past and be here now. I really hope that is helping somebody. I really do. I really, 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 really do. Okay, let's move on to the next message. How you can bring your goals and intention to fruition. We've got the Eight of Cups reversed. Now, the Eight of Cups, I think this is my favorite imagery of all the decks that I have of how it represents the Eight of Cups, because I love how she's walking to her sunrise. She's letting some shit go, and she's walking away because she's like, this isn't helping me anymore. And I've got to walk towards my peace, my joy, my happiness. Okay. Now, when we have this energy reversed, a lot of times it represents giving something one more chance. It represents giving something one more chance. So I'd like to confirm. I don't know if this is the deck I want to use to do that. I don't know what to do. I don't know what card to use, what deck I want to use. You know what? I'm going to use the Cat Tarot. I know it's a little crazy, but sometimes I kind of like the imagery of this deck. I'm not even like a cat person like that. but I kind of like these cards sometimes. All right, let's clarify this Eight of Cups reverse and really understand where source is guiding you. How you can bring your goals and intentions to fruition. Please clarify the Eight of Cups for this person reversed. Ooh, okay, hold on. Queen of Swords reversed. You know, the Queen of Swords, this is air sign energy, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. The Queen of Swords, when she's reversed, she's a little too cold. She's a little too bitter. She's been through so much pain. She's been through so much that now she doesn't trust anybody. Now she don't trust nobody. Now everybody get on her damn nerves, and it takes a lot for her to open herself back up. Can you clarify the Eight of Cups for this person? How can they bring their goals and intentions to fruition? The devil. I love that the devil in this deck is the dog, which I think is hilarious. Okay, the devil. This is also Capricorn energy, attachments as well. The Emperor. We've got Aries energy here, and we've got the Empress. Now, first of all, whenever we have the Emperor and the Empress, that is mother and father energy. The Emperor and the Empress have been coming up a lot in my readings. When they come up together, it's mother and father energy. So there may be a message for your parents here, maybe going back to your parents in whatever way that means to you, going back to them for advice, going back to them to live, going back to them for help or guidance, or another female, male, like a power couple, if you will, maybe that you really trust and rely on, potentially. The devil is also connected to work as well, because Capricorns are very ambitious. I know this is a dog, but again, this card is connected to Capricorn energy. And again, I think there's a message here about going back to work. What am I missing? To me, there's a balance of divine feminine and masculine, but there's a couple here specifically that is going to help you. There's a couple specifically here that is going to help you. Let me see. Feel free to pause this if you will, but this is my tarot Bible. If you want to read any of this on this page, but I'm going to skim through it. The real question is, can the circumstances improve? Is it a lost cause? Check in with your intuition to understand whether you should give this situation one more chance or if you should let it go. Listen to your heart. At times, the reverse Eight of Cups can show that you're drifting from one place to the next because you never feel satisfied. I mean, maybe that might be resonating with some of you. Invite you to listen to your heart about the next course of action. Others may have an opinion, but it comes down to what's important to you. Only you know whether a situation is serving you and if there is hope for the future. Be mindful of what you want and then check in to see if this move is in alignment with your goals and dreams. And it's hard. Sometimes what you have to do is not in alignment with your goals and dreams. It's hard, you know, sometimes it's not, but it's like kind of what you need to do. Anything else that will help this person make a decision, Spirit? Queen of Pentacles reverse. The Queen of Pentacles is, she's self-made. She's self-made, but when it's reversed, she needs to nurture herself. Sometimes it points to financial independence. Earth sign energy as well, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. There might be an earth sign and air sign energy is present here of maybe who you can go to for help or advice. What am I getting from this? Let me just tune in, please. I'm hearing suffer. Stop making yourself suffer. I think whoever this message is reading, you're struggling because you only see one way out of your circumstance. And you're not allowing yourself to open up to all the possibilities that something could still work. My genuine opinion, and this is just a personal thing, and I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong, and maybe my views might be different a year from now. But whenever you feel like you're struggling to walk away from something, I usually take it as a message to keep going. I'd rather something be a definite no than to wonder if I should have given it more time or energy. That's me. That's me. That's me. I'm not saying that that's the approach that you need to take. I'm just saying I like to have conviction in my decisions. And if I can't make a decision with conviction, I'd rather not. Because I don't like to have regrets. Even going back to mistakes. Even going back to like, okay, I don't want to make another mistake. Maybe that's a fear. I don't know if staying is a mistake. I don't know if going is a mistake. You're not going to know. You're not going to know. So that's why the message is check in with your values now. How are your values different from before you got into this situation? Have you changed? And that's okay if you have changed. You know? I will say, this is what I will say. This is practical advice that I could give to anybody listening. If you're wondering if you should walk away from a relationship, I would kind of be honest about that person that maybe you guys need to take a break. And a long time ago, I would have felt like a break was bullshit. I really would have, but now I don't. Because adult relationships are complicated. I would be honest with somebody that you want to take a break, but y'all need to, I don't really agree with dating other people if you're on a break personally, because then just say you want to open up the relationship. That's something else completely different. But I think if you're questioning relationship, it's okay to want to have space. It's okay to like want to take a step back so you can get clear on what you want. If you're considering walking away from a job, see if you can take a leave instead of completely quitting. See if you can take a leave of absence. Okay, if you're trying to figure some things out. So if there's a way that you can kind of take a pause, explore that versus cutting it off completely and saying, no, I'm over, I'm done. Okay, let's move on. I spent a lot of time on that. Okay, what additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goal? To me, there's a huge emphasis on family here. The 10 of Cups is big, happy family, dreams come true. But because we've got the Emperor and Empress here, okay, coming out, I do think there is a message here on some couple that is significant to helping you. All right, now with it being reversed, a lot of times the 10 of Cups is a message to kind of tap back into what's really important to you and fulfilling to you, especially if you've been focused on other things or material things, especially in terms of relationships. This is a message of like, hey, things are not as all pretty and perfect as they used to be, but you know, you can save it. A lot of times with the Ten of Cups reversed, it's like, it's when there's cracks in the family situation, but you could save it. You understand and acknowledge that things are not perfect, but if you're willing to work on it, you can save it. Okay. How do I want to confirm this? Can you clarify the Ten of Cups, please? Ooh, okay, that was fast. Nine of Pentacles reverse, Temperance reverse. This is Sagittarius energy. The Nine of Pentacles is, again, kind of similar to the Queen of Pentacles, financial independence. Okay. Balance and abundance. Now, with that energy reversed, there's a message here that you're a little, maybe, I don't know if this is going to relate to everybody, but you're maybe being a little too self-reliant. I think you're being a little too self-reliant, because the Nine of Pentacles, she's independent and she's learned how to like make her own life. And really speaking, the Nine of Pentacles is about sometimes being overworked and not able to enjoy the fruits of your own labor, and sometimes the lack of self-worth and self-value. The Temperance reverse is lack of compromise, lack of mediation, and impatience. But what I'm really seeing here in relationship to the Ten of Cups, I think you're relying on yourself. You're like, I don't need anybody. I don't need to compromise. I don't need to mediate or whatever. I can do this by myself is kind of what I'm getting. But I kind of feel like Spirit is trying to say, babe, you're a little bit too disconnected. We're human beings. We're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to live in isolation. And I know that's a really touchy subject given the world circumstances with social media and how all of us are kind of connected and also disconnected. If that is speaking to you, drop a comment in below to let me know, because I really think there's a message here of hyper independence, and I think Spirit is trying to tell you, babe, you got to get back connected. You got to get back connected. Because I think the isolation, sometimes also the Eight of Cups is about being alone sometimes. I think that the message here is like, you got to figure out how to get back tapped in. Now, I understand people watching this video, because I see in my comments all the time, especially on TikTok, people love to talk about how they don't feel supported by their family. They have no friends. Nobody is ever there for them. Or when they speak up, nobody helps them. And I don't want to say those things aren't true, but you have to take ownership in that. And you have to create your own family. You have to create your own community and go a step further and do the self-work and ask yourself, am I a good friend? Am I a good family member? Am I a good sibling? Because nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody who is always needing something, is always distressed, is always, people want to be in mutually beneficial relationships, and that's not always romantic. People want to have friends that, they can laugh with and have a good time with, and you can lean on each other versus always, oh, this person is always, you don't want to be that energy vampire, right? So I just want to share that, because I don't want you to say, okay, well, I need to make friends so you can dump on them. I want you to have friends so you feel supported, but I also want you to be prepared to be what that person needs as well. That's my point. I hope that's making sense. Don't try to go and try to make new friends and be an energy vampire. That's not what we're doing. If that's what you feel like you need, you do in fact need a therapist, babe. Where's the card? You need to actually pay somebody to vent. Okay? If that's what you feel like you need, then you need to consider therapy. Okay? But don't make your friends your therapist. Friends are going to hold space, but if that's all you do, they're going to stop inviting you to shit. They're going to stop hanging out with you. Okay, so we talked about a lot, guys. I hope all this was helpful. It's a little bit hard to recap. Let me try to see if I can figure this out. Hold on. Let me try to recap. Let me try to recap. Okay. Hold on. So, here we go. So we're letting go of our unconfident self. Okay. And you're letting new ideas come in. You're letting a new perspective come in, a new way of thought come in. Okay. We're going back to and getting back connected and asking ourselves, what makes me happy? What do I want now? And is that different from what I used to want? And how can I let go of the mistakes I've made along the way? I realized maybe now I didn't want to do this or do that. And now I kind of regret that decision. That's okay. We're letting that go. We're releasing the anxieties and fears around that because we still have today. We still have today to make a new choice, to make a new change. Okay. And what am I holding on to? What am I refusing to let go of? You know, am I really ready to move on and let go? Or am I afraid of failure? Am I afraid of success? Am I fearful of I feel something, I'm smelling something burning. Something smells like it's burning. Something smells like it's burning. I don't know what that is. It's very specific because I'm not burning anything. And maybe that's metaphorical. I'm gonna go downstairs and check in a minute because I don't think I have any fires on or nothing like that. I just have the coffee pot on. But what needs to burn? What do you need to release? Okay, maybe some psychics feel like they smell things. Psychically, that's not really a gift of mine. It is most likely that something is burning. But I don't know, maybe spirit's trying to use it in the moment. What needs to burn? What do you need to just set ablaze, okay? What needs to be set ablaze so that the new path feels fresh. It feels I want you to listen to this reading, and I want you to journal and take your time and think about where you want to go so that the path that you decide to walk down doesn't have a lot of obstacles. You feel like you can walk down that path in confidence without looking back and feeling like, oh, I should have, without feeling FOMO. Does that make sense? And then get back connected with your people. You're too disconnected is really what I feel is the message. So I'm going to take this time to, number one, check if anything's on fire. And two, I'm going to pull an oracle message from the Queen of the Moon Oracle for all of the zodiac signs under this new moon in Libra, okay? Starting with Aries. What is the major theme for Aries under this new moon in Libra? All right, the unexpected. Okay, let's read that message. I'm going to pause it here in case you'd like to read it for yourself, but I am going to read our message. All right, the unexpected. No matter how well you plan, there is always room for the unexpected to occur. Build your resilience as rare occurrences can happen. A visitor you have not seen in a long time may re-enter your life. The affirmation is, I trust in myself and in life. In the old Farmer's Almanacs, a blue moon was described as the third full moon in a season that has 4 full moons. The newer and now more accepted description is that a blue moon is when there are 2 full moons in one calendar month. Either way, it is a rare occurrence and has inspired the saying, once in a blue moon, when describing an event or behavior that only happens rarely. The energy and power of the blue moon can be best taken advantage of by setting intentions on these moons of things that you really want but have never felt could happen. I refer to big wishes, the almost miracle stuff we would be both delighted and surprised about if it manifested. After setting blue moon intentions, though, don't sit there hoping it will just happen. Try to take clear, practical steps towards these big, seemingly faraway intentions and help the universe along. Some of us love surprises, some of us don't, but I don't think anyone can go through life without sometimes having the unexpected happen to them. While some professions in particular, such as the military and medicine, try to plan for everything that could go wrong, life sometimes finds a way to outsmart the most thorough of plans. This is simply life. Although it is important for us to know where, how, and why we are traveling down a particular path, we should always make room for and expect the unexpected. The companion stone is benitoite, I don't know what it is, but it's a very rare blue gem apparently. Okay, Aries, let me know if that resonates with you. Please watch your rising and your moon as well for a 360 view of what you can expect for this new moon in Libra. Taurus, let's see what your message is. under this new moon in Libra. Okay, we have blossoming, lovely, 33. This is a lovely card. I love this one. Okay, I'm going to open it up here in case you'd like to read it for yourself. Feel free to pause so that you can read this message in your own time. But I am going to read it for you here as well. Okay. Do not give up. You have planned for this. Take no notice of what others think or say about you. Open and rise. Someone around you may be jealous of your success. Mark your victories. The affirmation is, I joyfully blossom and I feel no fear. In the country in which I live, this is from the author's perspective, in which I live, there really aren't a lot of meadows. The classic kind of gently rolling open space, often between a forest or mountains. The kind of space whispers to you, here, rest a while, lay down, my friend, it's soft. The first true meadow I saw was in Yosemite National Park in the United States. It was early spring, the snows had pretty much stopped, and nature had taken her opportunity. In front of me, as far as I could see, was a green meadow of grasses covered in blossoming flowers. It was so beautiful it almost made me cry. I just stood there for a long time taking it all in. It felt so hopeful and new and joyful, so I felt hopeful and renewed and joyful. I walked into the meadow and was soon surrounded by the blossoming. The flower fragrance drifted up with the breeze. There was a dusting of pollen on my clothes. I could hear the contented buzzing of few insects. In that moment, I was so grateful to be part of the meadow. Anything seemed possible here. There is a time to blossom. We plant seeds, physically and metaphorically, so they will blossom into what we intend. Perhaps the journey has been long and hard, but one shouldn't give up, especially if we are close. Fear is usually the thing that prevents flow and blossoming. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of change, fear of what people think. I could go on. But no, if we can release the useless fears and begin to enjoy our growth and eventual blossoming, it will be all worthwhile. And the companion stone is ruby. I do not have a ruby, but you can imagine. Okay, Taurus, that's what I have for you. So blossoming. Watch your moon and your rising as well for a 360 view of what this new moon in Libra will bring you. Okay, Gemini, let's see what your message is for this new moon in Libra. Gemini, please. Okay, self-love, period. Yes, yes. In your fellow air sign. Okay, I will pause it here in case you'd like to read it for yourself. This is the first page, and here is the second page. Okay. Radical self-love is necessary. Empowerment starts from the inside out. Do not compare yourself to others. Start your change with focus and love of self. The affirmation is, every day I bring radical self-love to body, mind, and spirit. Sometimes we feel we are not enough. Sometimes we are even told we are not enough by our own voice, the voices of others and our culture. Not smart enough, not pretty enough, not powerful enough, not talented enough, not good enough at what we choose to do, not ambitious enough, not experienced enough, not curvy enough, not thin enough, not glamorous enough, not porn star enough, not enough of a lady. And as a result, all of this makes us not love ourselves enough. Then there is the opposite, that we do too something, that we are too something, too tall, too short, too fat, or too thin, too wrinkly, too pimply, too old, too young, too quiet, or too mouthy, too noticeable, too opinionated, too much trouble, too much, full stop. Is it any wonder that many of us feel such self-loathing or dissatisfaction with the self? Please just stop. Put your blinkers on, breathe, be with yourself, do ritual, speak to the goddess or whatever energy floats your boat, and ask for help. Yes, indeed, listen to any and all of the crazy misdemeanors that your mind may throw at you, but then hug these untruths like a crying puppy and soothe the reasons they are there. Know that you are doing the best you can right now, that you are not your past, and you can soothe yourself. And most importantly, you can move on. Know that this comparison craziness is just a diversion from knowing yourself really well and discovering amazing, delicious aspects of yourself that are entirely satisfying. Focus on you, not others, and discover where you really might like change, if anywhere or anything, for your own personal benefit, not for some outward measure of enoughness. True power and happiness comes from the inside out, like an unfurling spiral. Woe is the person who relies on the opinions of others to gain happiness and self-measure. Choose radical self-love. Choose you. The companion stone is rose quartz, which I'm sure that I have. I have a lot of different rose quartz. I've got, this is like raw rose quartz. I've got like a little moon rose quartz. It's like kind of chills. I don't even know where I got this. I forgot. I've got rose quartz is like one of those stones that are just so plentiful. A little tumbled rose quartz. I've got a little heart rose quartz. So self-love. Okay. So get you some rose quartz, work with it. Put it in a bath if you'd like, Gemini. You could do that too, put it in a bath water, or some people like to put it in their bra. There's a lot of ways you could work with it. Put it under your pillow to give yourself that self-love. I hope that's helpful. Watch your moon and your rising as well for a 360 view on how to experience or what you will be experiencing under this new moon in Libra. Bye, Gemini. Cancer. Let's see what your overall theme of this new moon in Libra will bring for Cancer, please. Okay. What we got here? Fear. Yes, fear. Okay. What number is it? 11? Okay. All right, so I'm going to just pause it here so that you can pause and like read it yourself if you'd like to. Okay, but I am going to read this for you. Okay, here we go. The time for courage is here. Fear is only useful if it teaches you something. You must examine whether your fears are old or new, useful or unhelpful. Fear blocks flow. The affirmation is, I am courageous. If there is one thing that stops people from fulfilling their dreams or even getting things done that they want done, it is fear. Experiencing fear is built in, a chemical part of the way our brain works to protect us. Emotions such as fear cause the production of a whole raft of body chemicals that give us the best chance of coping with situations that need our attention to survive. There is a healthy kind of fear, the kind that wants us to keep out of a dangerous situation or stay clear of someone who instinctively makes us weary. However, it would be a rare person who does not have at least one fear that does not serve them, a fear that is unrealistic or untrue, or perhaps based on an outmoded experience or something that is buried so deeply we only see the symptoms rather than the fear itself. Most fears have been formed with the positive intent of protection. We need to separate that intention out and deal with it in a more resourceful and less destructive way if we are to create ease and flow in our lives. Fear has many names. Covert ones are envy, jealousy, codependence, procrastination, bullying, people-pleasing, disconnection. More overt ones are avoidance, fear of failure, or fear of success. There is, however, a kind of antidote to fear, and that is courage. Fear will put up an initial resistance to courage, but it has no real long-term power against it. While we can be fearful and courageous at the same time, and I think courage contains a mighty big dose of fear, we can choose to face that fear and flow through it until we fear less and then eventually become fearless. The process isn't always graceful. It isn't always impressive, but because it may be slow and deliberate steps we take. Taking these steps isn't always easy. An understatement. It isn't always apparent to others, so it should be about us measuring how far we have come and not worrying about what anyone else thinks. Comparison is useless. Courage is power, no matter what form it takes. The companion stone is aquamarine. I do not have that one, so I cannot show that to you, but I hope you found that message helpful, Cancer. Watch your moon and your rising as well for a 360 view of what you can expect for this new moon in Libra. Bye, Cancer. All right, Leo, let's see what you can expect under this new moon in Libra. Let's see, Leo, what we got here for you. Sovereign, you got Unsurprisingly, you've got sovereignty, which is the cover of the deck here, but you are a natural ruler, Leo, Queen of the Moon, sovereignty. Okay. This card is really about remembering your power. Truly. Okay, sovereignty. Wait, hold on. I'm going to pause it here in case you'd like to pause it for yourself and read this in your own time, in your own words, at your own pace. Okay. You have sovereignty over your own life. Act with grace and confidence. You have the ability to unite disparate people and views should you choose to do so. You have the ability to unite disparate people and views should you choose to do so. Okay. The buck stops with you. You are powerful. Act like it. The affirmation is, I reign over my own realm. Goddesses of the moon are one of the oldest kinds of feminine divine and feature in mythologies from almost every corner of the globe. I kind of hate this part, but I'm going to read all of it anyway. From Diana of ancient Rome and the Greek Artemis to the Semitic Astarte and Hina, I'm pronouncing all these wrongs. Hina from Polynesia, the link with the feminine divine and the lunar planet and cycles is a strong one. These goddesses, in all their myriad of forms, were extremely powerful and demonstrated to women that they naturally had power as well. We should strive to be the powerful queens of our own domain. Women especially have been socialized to defer, to keep small, to be quiet, and to hold a very twisted kind of service that borders on servitude. While in many first world countries, women can choose to be what they wish to be on paper, women still experience inequality in most countries in areas such as wage disparity and an imbalance of the numbers of women in government or in high-level board positions. However, what has been accepted in the past is not what will be accepted in the future. A new queendom is coming. When we reign over our own lives, it is us that take the responsibility for our own change and decisions. The Moon Queen knows that we, just under the divine, are our own rulers, and as such, the buck stops here. Therefore, it is worth us investing in growing our own self-awareness, our own self-trust, self-care, and self-esteem in real and practical ways. We must, as any queen would, set firm boundaries to protect our queendom and those who are under our protection. This does not mean we become cruel rulers. We should always aim for benevolence, fairness, and a great love for all, as well as ourselves. It does mean we may have to push against those who do not respect our line in the sand. The companion stone is platinum, which I do not have, but you can imagine. So, Queen of the Moon, sovereignty. Yeah. Remember your power, Leo, is really what I'm getting from that. Remember your power. And I think that really connects to the collective reading as well. So I hope this helped you in some way. Watch your moon and your rising as well for a 360 view of what you can expect this new moon in Libra. Bye, Leo. Okay, Virgo, let's see what we got for you. What is your message under this new moon in Libra, Virgo? Okay, let's see. And you have focus. Yes, beautiful. Oh, I flipped right to it. Did you guys see? All right, so I'm gonna leave this open here in case anyone would like to pause and read it for themselves, but I am going to read this aloud. Okay, here we go. You must focus on the task at hand right now. There is no room for a scattergun approach. Put on the blinkers and do not listen to gossip or negative people. If you make a mistake, it is your mistake to make. Do not waste your focus. Do not split your attention into too many pieces. The affirmation is, I have a laser-like focus that serves me well. What we place our focused attention on matters. Placing our undivided focus on something means we are more likely to take action on it. We are more likely to finish something we wish to complete if we focus on it. We are more likely to plan and succeed in our achievements should we take the time to focus on how. Even something as simple as eating a meal is more enjoyable if we take the time to focus on just that, eating and all of its sensory rewards. What hinders focus? Diversion, and it is often Diversion, and it is often diversions we set for ourselves or that we allow. When we are afraid of our own growth or greatness, we may procrastinate. We might place trauma in our own. It says drama, but I receive that too. We might place trauma in our own way, but we might place drama in our own way. We may even focus on everyone except for ourselves and never have the time to do the things we set for ourselves. Our heart's desires, therefore, never come to us. We might allow the opinions of others to get in the way, letting the criticisms and values of others affect us. This is useless. We need to forget about the gossip or opinions of others about what our society says. Instead, turn your focus to you and what you are doing. Pay attention to you. We need to focus instead on what feels so deeply good to us, what we really want, and what we want to place our laser-like focus upon. And soon it will be ours. The companion stone is carnelian, which I do have. Carnelian. So Virgo, there's a message here. What I'm getting out of this is that, like, don't let other people stop you from doing what you said you was going to do. And you might be letting too many distractions get in the way. Is really what that message is really saying. What you do, what you said you wanted to do, without trying to do too much, without trying to do 5 things at once. I don't really have a lot of Virgo placements, but this is something that I have to remind myself to do all the time. Like, just stop trying to do too much. Just focus on one thing at a time. I be wanting to take the world over in one day, and I can't. I can't. It's impossible. We're human. Okay, I hope that was helpful to you, Virgo, but feel free to watch your moon and your rising as well to get a 360 view of what you can expect under this new moon in Libra. Hey, Libra, here we go. We've got your message here. We're going to get, wisdom. I'm going to put it back, but we'll receive that. We'll receive that. Because I've been picking a card for everyone else. Okay, for Libra, what is your message for Libra under this new moon in Libra? If we get wisdom again, let's see. No, assessing, which is kind of similar. Okay, 9. I'm going to hold it here in case anyone would like to read the message for themselves, but I am going to read it aloud. Okay, here we go. It is time to assess your current position. You must make sure your blind spots are revealed and that you are honest with others and yourself. Sometimes the hard decision is the best decision. You should be able to assess and move quickly based on that assessment. The affirmation is, I am enjoying moving and choosing, moving and choosing. You have begun your journey, and now it is time to assess where you are and what to do next. You have made a decision. You have worked and walked the path for some time. And yet you understand that in every journey, it's a wise action to check the map. Sometimes we go along a pathway and we keep going even if it seems like the way is no longer the right way for us. Sometimes we feel we have gone too far to turn around, and so we settle on a journey and destination that doesn't really suit us or satisfy us. However, if we had just had some courage, we could have reassessed as we went and perhaps ended up somewhere else, somewhere better. Now is the time to look carefully at all aspects of your life, especially the areas in which you have set some intentions or goals. Ask yourself, do I still want these things? Do I still want the same end result? If the answer is no, ask yourself what you can do to maintain momentum and head towards what you now desire. Although it doesn't seem terribly glamorous, assessment has a high payoff for us if we bother to do it well. Doing it well means we really look hard at how things are going. All of us have some kind of blind spot, so it's worth exposing this by consulting a trusted friend or finding where negative repeating patterns are and looking for the cause. Shining a light on a blind spot and taking action to shift it is one of life's big catalysts for change. The comparison stone is azurite. I don't have that stone, but you can look it up. So, assessing. So basically, I think this message fits the collective very well. About like checking in, like, do I still want to go down this path or not? And what is in alignment with me? How can I get back my joy? How can I release these anxieties? You've got to check the map. You know, check the map. Am I still going down the path? It kind of goes back to what I was saying. I want you to be able to go down a new path this new moon, feeling confident around what's ahead of you and not feeling distracted by the obstacles. Okay. I really hope you found that helpful. Watch your moon and your rising as well for a 360 view of what you can expect under this new moon in Libra. Okay, Scorpio, here we go. All right, Scorpio, what we got for you? What's your message under this new moon in Libra? Gratitude. Beautiful. 23. Here we go. All right, I'm going to leave it open here in case anybody would like to read the message themselves. But I am going to read it aloud. Be where you are and be thankful. There is always something to be grateful for, no matter your suffering. Gratitude raises a lower vibration to a higher one. Do not allow yourself to be surrounded by too many negative people. Life is conspiring for you. The affirmation is, I joyfully turn my attention to what I am grateful for. As we enter the last quarter moon on the lunar cycle, the energies begin to turn towards surrender and release, to let go of what we no longer need. It behooves us to pay attention to what we have right now, both positive and negative. This attention paying and focus allows us to wisely discern and to be grateful for all of it. Yes, all of it. Because the nasty stuff, the stuff that is making us suffer right now, it already happened and we can take wisdom from this. However, now it's going. And what we have left is the good stuff. And frankly, most of it is going to be great. Taking some time out on this moon, girl, sorry, I'm like checking with my reading for a second. Hold on, let me reset. Taking some time out on this moon to list a few things you feel grateful for will raise your vibrations and banish any resistance you have to ditching out old, outdated patterns. Doing this also turns your powerful focus away from a story you may have started to believe of everything going wrong or that life does terrible things to you. Gratitude is a balancer. In fact, it normally tips the scales to the positive. The companion stone is ocean jasper. I don't have ocean jasper, but I know that's sunstone. I have a jasper. I don't know where it is though. I had a jasper, but it's not on my altar, so I can't show it to you. Anyway, so Scorpio, lean into the gratitude. I think Spirit is trying to tell you to reset instead of focusing on what's going wrong. Be grateful for, and I know it's like most people when they hear this are like kind of don't want to hear that. They just rather be stuck. They'd rather be upset. They'd rather be angry in their situation. And I get it, truly, but it really does affect things. If you could just walk through your home and just give a few things you're grateful for. I don't even care if it's, sometimes I'd be going through my home. I'd be like, Lord, just thank you for the lights. Thank you for the lights being on. Thank you for the heat. Okay. Thank you for the food in this fridge. Just the little things that I have, you know, I know it sounds silly, but I would be thankful for just socks. You know, I know that sounds really crazy, but like, you know, it's easy to be like, oh, nothing fits me. I don't have anything to wear. It's like, that's not true. I have things to wear, but like, you know how many people don't? You know how many people don't have things to wear? They don't have socks. They don't have proper shoes. Like, you know, it's real easy to be ungrateful for what you wish you had, but, you know, it's a lot harder to really tune into what you do already have. And that's, anyway, the point of the message. So you will start to shift your energy by leaning into gratitude. You'll see, you'll notice. I hope you found that helpful, Scorpio. Watch your moon and your rising as well for a 360 view of what you can expect this new moon in Libra. And I wish you an early happy birthday. Bye, Scorpio. Okay, we're on to Sagittarius. Ooh, we got Will coming out. Now, I've been picking a card for everyone else, so let's see if we get that card again. We're going to take it anyway. Willpower messages about being determined. Okay, what do you have for Sagittarius under this new moon in Libra, please? Okay, let's see. We have faith. Amen. Yes. Yes, Lord. Faith. Okay, 31. I'm going to leave it open in case anyone would like to read this message themselves. But I am going to read it aloud. Fertility and abundance now return. Things will get better. Growth has started. Hold on to your dreams in adversity. The affirmation is, I know all will be well. It is in the darkest times that we find it hard to see the light. It is hard to see when things seem hopeless. How we can ever feel hope again. When things seem to fail, it is really difficult to draw up our resilience and stand up again. We learn by observing the seasons that the light does return. The barrenness of winter turns indefinitely and surely into spring. The ice melts, the days grow longer, and the nights grow shorter. Warmth and fertility slowly return to the land. Hold on, I've got to check in with my site here. It is hard to have faith in ourselves and the universe. Faith requires us to let go of our anxieties and have trust, perhaps in something we can't actually see yet. Having a more complete faith in yourself and a higher power to lead you to your greatest good is a solid intention. While having a rigid blind faith does not serve us, it is important to hold on to our dreams and intentions and to focus on the outcome. To do this without taking note of what is happening around us can be folly. Our ancestors would observe nature carefully, looking for the signs of new life and fertility, altering their hunting or planting to best take advantage. Yet they knew that the ice would melt and the soil, damp and ready, teeming with worms, would receive their seeds. The companion stone is lapis lazuli. I have that in a couple things. I've got lapis lazuli. Okay, lapis lazuli is actually in this here, but it's also in this wand that I have. This is so beautiful. Okay, so that message is what it's saying. If some of y'all missed it, and the message on the faith is that you have faith in your circumstance, but like the message about blind faith is like, don't be stupid. At the end of the day, don't be dumb. Don't keep walking down a path that you know is not going to help you. And in the example that they were trying to give of, okay, they know that the ice is going to melt, but they're still looking and observing the land to see where is it going to be best to plant our seeds? Where is it going to be best to go hunting? We got to observe the patterns. We got to observe where are the tracks in the land to go see where the deer are. But if you go down a path, you don't see no tracks. That is blind faith. That is blind faith. You're just hoping that you're going to pass a goddamn deer or a rabbit and you ain't even see no tracks. Okay? So there's a little bit of wisdom that you need to have on top of believing that spirit source God will provide. Does that make sense? Because number one, he's done it before. That's why the message was, if he did it, he'll do it again. But you also have to, be smart. Don't be dumb. I really hope that's helpful. I really hope that's helpful. Watch your moon and your rising as well to get a 360 view of what to expect this new moon in Libra. I really hope that was helpful for you, Sagittarius. Okay, bye, love. We got Capricorn. We got discernment. We're going to see what else comes out. I've been picking a card for all the other signs. So let's see what we get for you, Capricorn. All right. This new moon in Libra, what's your message? And we have power. Amen. Yes. Yes, Capricorn. She looks so fierce. Okay. I'm going to keep this open here in case anyone would like to read the message, but I am going to read it aloud. Here's the second page. Okay, here we go. Step into your true power. Shine brightly. Do not hide who and what you are. The time is right to attract big things for yourself. Ancestral energy is important. Open your mind to larger possibilities. Big magic can be wrought. The affirmation is, I have power. It is real. Go outside on a clear night and look up. Hopefully you'll see the stars a-twinkling. If you are really lucky, you might see the swirling Milky Way spilling across the darkness. And then there she is, the big full moon, unmistakable in her glory and power. She moves the earth itself, stabilizes it into orbit. She releases and pulls the seas. She is the object of devotion, the inspiration of poems, the realm of goddesses, and she has witnessed the very first of us rise up on two legs and venerate her. Generation after generation, we have stood barefoot under the same moon, wishing, setting intentions, dancing, and drawing her graceful power. You are made of the very swirling matter that is the stuff of stars. You are pure possibility, changing constantly, renewing and transforming. Take this moment to recognize that power and rejoice in it, for your next step is the precursor to your future self. The companion stone is Moonstone, which I do have. I have better Moonstone. This is Moonstone. It's technically Rainbow Moonstone, but it's not as lovely as I'd like it to be. I don't actually think this is Rainbow Moonstone. I feel like I bought it and it was supposed to be, I don't think it is. I have a ring, but I can't find that ring and I miss it a lot. Anyway, this is Moonstone. So work with Moonstone if you would like to harness your power, harness your greatness. And really that's the message of the card, Capricorn, if you missed it. The message was kind of like exalting the moon, but they were trying to make a comparison of like, God made you is really the message, Capricorn. So you have to remember that you, I think of the Mary song, is the God in me, right? Like, yes, we can serve and worship and honor a higher power, but also we have power within us as well. And that's why so many texts talk about co-creation, right? We are working with Source in partnership, you know? So remember that power within yourself. I hope that's helpful, Capricorn. Watch your moon and your rising as well for a 360 view on what you can expect in this new moon in Libra. Yes, let's go ahead and see what your message is under this new moon in Libra. Here we go, Aquarius. Okay, what do you have for you? Hunger. I know. I know I'm an Aquarius rising and I know another Aquarius that's going through some stuff. So this is really it. Let me know, Aquarius, if this really resonates with you, because this message is specifically about basically going without hunger, you know. And it often connects financially, but, you know, maybe for you it connects in other ways. Okay, let's see. I'm going to keep this open in case anybody would like to read for themselves. But I am going to read this aloud. Feed the good and hope within you. There will always be a lean part of the cycle. Prosperity will come. Do not let your hunger blindly dictate your actions entirely. The affirmation is, I recognize all that I hunger for. Excuse me. An old wise Cherokee is speaking to his grandson about life. The young boy asks his grandfather, "It is said, grandfather, that everyone who has two wolves within them. The first wolf gives darkness, despair, and hate, and jealousy, and sorrow. The second wolf gives light and hope and helpfulness and kindness. Yet, grandfather, I feel them fighting within me. What can I do?" My small son, these two wolves will always fight, and they will always fight within each person. You are no different, said the grandfather. But, said the boy, grandfather, which wolf will win? And the grandfather answers, whichever wolf you feed. You must be careful about what we nourish. We must be careful about what we nourish and feed within us. If we give abundance to the aspect of the self that can harm others and ourselves, then we cannot truly thrive. Having no limitations upon these behaviors and patterns hurts us and starves the higher and finer parts of ourselves that will bring us more happiness. To ripple that happiness to others is part of why we are on the planet as humans. We must also recognize that in life, just because it is a cycle, there will always be a leaner, less abundant, or less bright times. Yet we have built our resilience and self-trust for times like this, and we know we are both loved and protected. The cycle will soon turn to less shadow and more bounty. The companion stone is Amazonite. Now, I've been working with this deck for a really long time. And so really what the message is, you know, the version of you that you feed is the version of you that will take over, right? You know, if you keep pouring, let's just focus on mindset. If you keep watching a lot of content that is negative and hurtful and meaningful, guess where your thoughts are going to start to lean? You're going to start being pessimistic and da 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 da. But if you pour into yourself a lot of hopefulness, a lot of prosperity talk, a lot of faith talk, then guess what? You are going where you're going to lean, right? And that's why the message is which version of you are going to feed. But there's also, so there's a message here of you got to do the work, Aquarius. But there's also a message here of, you know, there's balance. There's going to be time of abundance and there's going to be time of famine. Okay. And you need to build up your self-resilience to get through the leaner cycles. That's what this card is saying. So that's what, when I'm saying I work with this card for a really long time, it usually comes up when people are going through that famine, that leaner cycle where the abundance is not as plentiful. And you've got to learn how to manage that and how to be resourceful. Okay. So this new moon in Libra is seeming to highlight that for you. Let me know if that connects below. Again, having worked with this deck a really long time, you are going to make it through. And I'm not just telling you that to make you feel better. I'm just telling you that's fact. Eventually, things can't stay like this forever, you know? I hope you find comfort in that, Aquarius. I really do. Watch your moon and your rising as well for a 360 view of what you can expect this new moon in Libra. Bye, Aquarius. Hey, Pisces. Last but not least, my love. Here we go. All right. What's for Pisces, this new moon in Libra? Message for Pisces. All right, and we have darkness, long night moon. This one's a little bit of a rough one, I'm not gonna lie. This one and the void, I think, are kind of heavy messages in this deck, but I'll get into why. I'll get into why. All right, so I'm going to open this up in case anybody would like to read this message for themselves, but I am going to read it aloud. All right, here we go. You are entering a time of introversion, a leaner time, or a time to turn inward to plan and strategize. It is time to do shadow work, which will bring big dividends later on. Release what no longer works for you. The affirmation is, the darkness needs to be there as much as does the light. One of the earliest human fears is said to be a fear of the dark. We fear what we can't see and we fear what may be hiding. In reality, the dark is as important as the light. In nature, there are many nocturnal animals that go about the business of living under the moon, not the sun. The darker times of the lunar and seasonal cycles signal a time to naturally turn inwards, to stay close to home, to look closely at ourselves, and to plan for the light. In the northern hemisphere, the long night moon usually occurred in December around the winter solstice. This is when the nights are indeed long and the hours of sunshine short. It's cold and people would begin to be snowed in. It is during these long nights we can begin to do our shadow work, undertaking the self-reflection needed to identify what isn't working for us and what might be causing us pain. This could be a bad habit, a destructive pattern, a recurring useless fear, or anything that holds us back from being the best we can be. Once we see these aspects of ourselves in the dark, we can simply decide whether they must go. We can decide to release them once and for all. We get to transform. The companion stone is onyx. I don't have onyx. I think this is, hold on. I don't know this. I don't think this is onyx. I think this is tourmaline. I think this is tourmaline. I don't think this is onyx. And I have obsidian. I don't have onyx. I don't think. I'm looking at my crystals back here. This isn't onyx either. This is like numite. I was going to show you this one. This is kind of cool. It has like these cool flecks of gold in it. Anyway. I don't have onyx. I'm sorry. I can't show you that one. Wish I did. But Pisces, I hope that connects with you. Basically, it's time to kind of stay low key and kind of like handle your business. When this card appears, it usually is coupled with a lot of confusion. When this card is here, there's usually not a lot going on like in your life. Like things can feel a little stagnant under this transit. I hate to say transit. That's not really the right word because that's an astrology term. With this card specifically, I noticed after working with this for a long time, it tends to feel under this moon or under this card that you're kind of searching for answers. But again, that's the shadow work. You got to think about it as cleaning house. Okay, what's not working for me? Where do I want to focus my energy so that when, you're not snowed in metaphorically anymore, you know what you're about to do. You know where you're going to focus your energy and attention. Does that make sense? I hope so, Pisces. All right, watch your moon and your rising as well for a 360 view of what you can expect for this new moon in Libra. I hope you found it helpful. And I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you so much. Have a great new moon in Libra.